Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome back to another one of Tyler's Tips at 10. As always, I start these videos off with saying thank you for tuning in and supporting Generations during this time. We had a lot of fun handing out equipment yesterday for those that ordered equipment. So a big thank you to those that came and got equipment. I hope this helps you with your activity during this time. So if you got that equipment and you're not sure how to use it, head over to the YouTube channel, Generations YouTube channel. Sometimes it helps if you type in Generations Silver Sneakers to find those videos. So otherwise, if you go on the Generations website, our channel is linked on there as well. So again, thank you to those that bought equipment and came to pick it up yesterday. We really appreciate it. Today, we are going to talk about how to properly cool down. So a couple days ago, I talked about a proper warm-up. And then we talked about exercise guidelines, so I felt it necessary to talk about how to properly cool down from exercise because it is very important. So let's first get into why it's so important. So obviously when you're exercising, your heart rate is spiking up. What a proper cool down does for your heart rate is it allows it to gradually drop back down. It's not going to get down to resting levels during your cool down, but it will help aid in it getting to those levels. So if you are exercising at a pretty high intensity and you just end the workout, you're likely going to be dizzy or lightheaded, and that can be very dangerous. So allowing your heart rate to gradually fall back down is something that will help you avoid that lightheaded or dizziness. Another great benefit of a cool down is it helps to avoid pooling of blood in the lower extremities. Obviously that doesn't sound like a good thing, and it's not. So what a cool down does, it helps to keep your blood circulating throughout the body, and it avoids the pooling in the lower limbs. It also, kind of going along with our heart rate, a cool down helps you to gradually bring down your breathing rate or your respiratory rate. So the amount of breaths you take in a minute. Obviously, if you're huffing and puffing throughout your workout and then you just stop, you're going to keep huffing and puffing for a little while. It's not going to just go back to a normal rate. So allowing it to gradually come back down to around a normal rate is definitely safer. And then lastly, it helps to avoid what we call delayed onset muscle soreness, or DOMS for short. So after a workout, depending on your fitness level and how often you work out and nutrition, like there's a lot of things that influence this DOMS. But if you give yourself a proper cool down, you're less likely to get the worst end of DOMS. So delayed onset muscle soreness typically happens, it can be anywhere from hours after a workout to days after a workout. So if you're fairly new to exercising, you might get DOMS, a couple days later. It might come actually right after your exercise. I mean, it really depends on the person, but and that soreness can be pretty extreme, especially if you're just getting into exercise. So gradually cooling down your muscles will help to avoid DOMS. So now that you have that information, let's talk about some examples we might use this cool down in. So for example, if you just went for a jog or a run, you obviously need to stop that jog at some point, but instead of just stopping your jog and standing still. It's recommended to walk for a certain amount of time, 5 to 10 minutes afterwards, just to help bring the heart rate down, breath rate back down, keep the blood circulating, and it just helps overall to avoid those injuries that can be associated with exercise. If you are strength training or lifting weights, it's highly recommended to stretch muscles afterwards, preferably whatever muscles you've worked or full body. As I mentioned when I talked about stretching, you don't just want to stretch cold muscles. You want to make sure those muscles are warmed up and pliable. So after exercise, muscles are especially pliable, so they're easier to stretch. So the more you stretch, the more range of motion you're going to get out of your muscles. There's likely going to be less injury associated with that. So being sure to stretch after strength training is also very important. Now you can do, instead of the more active cool downs, I shouldn't say instead of, on top of the more active cool downs, I would recommend doing some sort of relaxation, because exercise stresses the body. So your body cannot tell between, stress from work and stress from an exercise. It's all just stress to the body. So if you're constantly stressing that body and not taking the time to relax and bring those levels down, your body's going to suffer. So doing some deep breathing, maybe it's yoga style savasana, a body scan, all sorts of things that are good, like the mind-body movements. If you're interested in this, at the end of my workouts, I have a relaxation bit that I do, which is kind of like a savasana or body scan. So head over to the YouTube channel and check out one of those. It'll give you a good idea of just becoming aware of what you're feeling in your body. I highly recommend it. I've been told multiple times that people absolutely love it, and they try to use it not just after a workout, but maybe trying to fall asleep or just trying to relax throughout the day. So I highly recommend taking a look at that. But it's a great thing to add on to your cool down, just to bring those stress levels down as well. All right, now that you have that information about a proper cool down, we've added on to, exercise guidelines. We've talked about a proper warm up. So now you should be absolutely ready to crush all those workouts and come out of your workout with a better understanding of what's going on and what your body needs, and how to protect your body. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Have a great weekend. Go out and enjoy that warm weather that's coming. Get out there and go for a walk, maybe a bike ride, a nice hike, now that the parks are opening again, which is really exciting. So get outside, stay active, and I will see you all on Monday for our live exercise class. Take care.